You guys are role models. Vice President Kamala Harris praises healthcare workers and people getting vaccinated as she visits Baltimore. Hello, everyone. I'm Vic Carter.
And I'm Denise Koch. Well, the visit comes as the Biden-Harris administration marks its 100th day in office.
WJZ is live at the mass vaccination site at M&T Bank Stadium. Ava Joy Burnett with more on the Vice President's message. Ava Joy.
Good afternoon. Well, the administration's goal was to give out 100 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine by their first 100 days. Today marks that 100-day milestone, and they were actually able to meet that goal and surpass it by about 100 million. And here at M&T Bank Stadium, this site has been one of those sites that helped the administration to reach that goal, and that's why the Vice President, Kamala Harris, was here today, and she thanked healthcare workers. Marking the administration's first 100 days in office, Vice President Kamala Harris arrived in Baltimore. Her destination, the mass vaccination site at M&T Bank Stadium.
Here in Baltimore, you guys are doing some amazing work. To all of the healthcare workers who've been working around the clock.
The governor called it a very well-run machine. More than 200,000 shots have been given out here since it opened in February.
I would say today is a good day, Baltimore.
In America, we not only dream, we do.
The vice president's visit to Baltimore comes after President Biden's first address to Congress and a historic moment for the vice president herself.
Well, Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President.
The purpose of the trip is to tout the administration's signing of a $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan and also the delivery of 219 million vaccine doses nationwide. This as the country tries to emerge from the pandemic.
Things are looking up. America is once again on the move. And that's in big part thanks to exactly what's happening here in this stadium.
More than 30% of the state's population is now fully vaccinated, but that's still far from the 80% that's long been the benchmark to achieve herd immunity. State and federal leaders say the country must continue to push towards that goal.
President Joe Biden, well, he had a clear vision and clear purpose. And let me tell you something, he never forgets who we are doing this for. It is for the American people.
And Vice President Kamala Harris wasn't the only one to hit the road today. The president also headed south to Georgia for a similar message. Coming up in WJZ at 5, we're going to hear from members of the Maryland delegation. They were here today at M&T Bank Stadium. More on what they have to say coming up in about an hour. Live tonight, Ava Joy Burnett for WJZ.
Ava, thank you. As Vice President Harris visits us in Baltimore, President Biden also on the road selling his new spending bills. He's celebrating his first 100 days in office with a rally in Georgia. He wants Congress to pass the American Jobs Plan focused on infrastructure along with the American Families Plan expanding access to child care and education.
What we're talking about here are investments. Nothing brings more money to the Treasury than the investment in education.
The president gives a nice talk about unity, but then he doesn't, there's no unity. Unity for him is we Republicans just agree to spend and spend and spend.
President Biden also called on Congress to pass the George Floyd Police Reform Act before the one-year anniversary of his death.
Well, Maryland is making strides in the fight against COVID-19. Key metrics continue to trend in the right direction. The state adding less than 1,000 new cases today. The positivity rate remains below 4%, and hospitalizations are also down. Well, following Governor Hogan's announcement yesterday that he is lifting the state's outdoor mask mandate, other jurisdictions are now following his lead. Today, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel, Howard, Harford, and Cecil counties announced they will do the same. Montgomery County is not, however, lifting the mandate. Baltimore City and several other jurisdictions have not announced any changes as of yet. And today, there are even more signs that some sense of normalcy is returning. The CDC is signaling that cruise lines can set sail soon. Michael George reports for WJZ from New York.
Some of the youngest students in New Jersey's second largest school district finally made the long-awaited trek back to the classroom.
It's my first day of school today, and I'm happy! Yay!
After 14 months and lots of confusion, pre-K to third graders in Jersey City resumed in-person learning, but only for half days.
We have to develop some patience. I lead with the students as my North Star.
Once the epicenter of the pandemic,
on July 1st, all systems go.
New York City is aiming to fully reopen July 1st, meaning stores, restaurants, and theaters can operate at full capacity.
You've gone out, you've gotten vaccinated, you've done so much to fight through this crisis.
The CDC is also giving cruise operators the green light to sail again as early as this summer, if 98% of the crew and 95% of passengers prove they're fully vaccinated.
The CDC has been missing in action for months of telling the cruise industry how to get started. So I'm glad that finally the CDC is making some decisions.
The CDC says fully vaccinated people can now just take a rapid test at the time of departure instead of taking a lab test ahead of the trip.
If they're vaccinated and if they're all kind of taking some precautions, I would feel comfortable.
I don't know, maybe in 6 months. 6 months to a year, possibly.
The nation is still recording around 50,000 new COVID cases every single day. Michael George, CBS News, New York.